Hello, children. How are you? Well, I'm doing good and enjoying the weather. How about you? It's autumn and winter is setting in. Enjoy dry fruit and stuff, right? Okay, now again, today the story that I have chosen is Bug Muldoon, and this also has an air of mystery. Now it's up to you to believe in it or not, and maybe this will stir up your imagination. Let's see and raise some questions. So, the sun began to slide over the horizon in disgust. I knew how it felt. It had been a long day and it wasn't over yet. I felt like I had covered the entire garden 10 times over. My legs were aching, all 6 of them, and I was getting awful tired of this case. I just wanted to crawl under a rock someplace still. An insect's got to do what an insect got to do, especially when he's being paid. There you are. This is Bug Muldoon. So this story is about a bug, and he's relating the story. I was working on a missing insect case. It was nothing special, but in my line of work, you take whatever you're offered. It pays the rent. I had been sitting around in my office that morning, wondering what to do. I had just finished a big case out of town, but now I was back and looking for work. A beetle has to eat. Things were so slow, I was even starting to think that I should give the place a spring cleaning. I was still thinking about it when an hour later, when I saw potential clients, 3 earwigs crawling up by the flower beds. I was curious. You don't see many earwigs down this end of the garden. They tend to stay up by the garbage cans near the house, the exclusive end of the garden. They mooch around nervously by a clump of grass for a while, whispering to each other. Me, I just waited. When they had worked up enough courage, they approached my office, which is a patch of soil underneath a rose bush. They slid their slender brown bodies through the weeds that form my front door. The biggest of the 3 spoke. Mr. Muldoon, Bug, the name is Bug. It makes me tense when people call me Mister. What do you guys want? The big one introduced himself as Larry. Then Larry did all the talking. The other 2 nodded their heads in encouragement. So these are his potential clients, customers. They needn't have bothered. This sounded like a story I'd heard a zillion times. A bug going missing isn't exactly big news in the garden. Still, the 3 earwigs looked like they expected me to ask questions. I did anything to oblige a client. When did he disappear? It's Larry's Anthony waved nervously. He was an edgy kind of guy. Late last night was the time we saw him. And did he say anything? Any indication that he was going somewhere? Larry hesitated. It gave one of the other 2 a chance to chip in. He said he was going to the meadow, he blurted. Larry shook his head. Eddie was always talking about taking off the meadow someday. That's all it was, talk. It didn't mean anything. Eddie was all talk. He'd never really do it. I nodded. But I knew better. How many innocent young insects had I met who dreamed of a better life outside of this garden in the meadow on the other side of the stream? They thought that life would be easier. Now I like fairy stories as much as the next beetle, but I knew one thing: life was as hard in the meadow as it was in this hell hole of a garden that we call home. If Eddie had struck out for the meadow, there was no guarantee he had made it, because many of the fellows had been caught in the web of a spider. Still, I didn't see any point in turning away clients. Could he be headed for the meadow? Could he be got stuck along the way? If the second is true, I might be able to find him. I told them I would look for Eddie or try to dig up some information. Okay, I gave them my daily fee plus expenses, and they didn't look too worried. Before they left, Larry leaned forward and said, "One more thing, Bug. Eddie runs around with a rough crowd. A lot of his friends are wasps, but he is a good kid at heart. So a person is known by the company he keeps." And it's very, very true. And that's why your parents tell you to watch out and make good friends. Friends from good families with good attitudes and manners. I told Larry I'll do what I can and I'll contact you as soon as I get some information. He's looked me straight into my eye. If we have a little place near the dustbins, we'll be there. And they were off scurrying into the grass. And so I had spent the whole day tramping all over the garden trying to find out what had happened to Eddie the earwig. I started asking questions around the patio and no information. I ran into a bunch of young earwigs who told me that Eddie had thought he was a big shot, always sounding off about leaving the garden. Then I spoke to a skinny-legged cranefly who told me that Eddie was a bug just looking for trouble and he hoped that he had found it, so he didn't have a good reputation. He wouldn't say any more than that. I thanked him politely, and then I did not want to go to the wasps because I did not want to be stung to death. So now I didn't have any leads, and I was forming to form a picture of the missing bug. I thought Larry had been dried. The insect had just been itching to get out of the garden. And then I started to concentrate my efforts on the east side, the direction of the meadow. I questioned whoever I ran into, right? But no one had spotted Eddie. Worms, beetles, flies. I widened my search, heading down further south. I trudged across grass, soil, concrete, and grass again. I began to think that something strange was going on in the garden, but it was different from before I had left this place. There was a new tension in the air, the kind of feeling you get when a storm is about to break and you can feel it in your guts. Trouble is on the way. Everybody was defensive. Okay, then I spoke to other insect, telling him I was looking for a missing earwig. So what? He said everybody is missing these days and scurried off. And that's how the day went. I had made no progress, not a single clue. And then I ran into Jake. He spotted me and buzzed down to land on a turf in front of me. Jake is a house fly. There he is in the picture. Excuse me. Okay. "How's it, Shaky?" I said. Pretty good, Bug," managed Shaky Jake. His eyes flitted this way and that way, and he skittered. "I guess he hadn't any sugar. Still got the sweet tooth?" I asked. "Sister, still got it. Not seen you for a while, Bug." I said I was busy on a case. Hey, Jake, I've got a new case. A bug. Jake supplied me with information sometimes. I'm looking for an earwig name of Eddie, so I'll be soon back.